So we've brought today some of these new, I call these new sliders. This is its new design. It's not nearly as tall. It's wider side to side, so you can grab more teeth for retention. And there's a little slice right here that separates this wing from the occluding surface. And the discluding element has already been ramped up a little bit. Right now it's just one piece. I'm just showing what the old, this is two views of the same device. And what I'm doing is I'm using this in replace of that. I'm just showing you its design. Internally, there's a little undercut, little step, so that your thermoplastic locks in. There's no fear of it dislodging. So you can see here how this lateral is sort of tucked back behind that central. And if I were to use the traditional daytime slide device, it'd be too broad, it'd be big, bulky right there. Well, you can see how this wing, this wing sits out a little bit, and there's a big gap there. So you can take these things and pinch them and make it narrow if you need to, so it hugs the teeth easily without having to grind on anything. And it holds its shape after you pinch it. So now you see how it's real tight against that lateral. And now it's not too high up here because it's a much lower profile. It doesn't stick up into that sulcus. And there's the thermoplastic. And that was really easy for me to do. And then retrusive, the discluding element on the upper one is already sort of pre-ramped up to keep it minimal vertical. Now when they go protrusive, you're on the lower discluding element. So there's nothing sticking out in their lips anymore. All the DEs are inside, nothing on the outside. Here's excursive. Some people don't want that, though. They don't want two big marshmallows on their teeth. And this is something that I can do real quick and easily. And I can call them, these are provisionally permanent. And if you really like that, you want that one's clear and colorless, and I go, you want one that looks sort of like this, and you'll have to wear one on one arch. They go, yeah, that looks great. Or they go, whatever. But it gives me the ability to do something quickly. Here's a lower flat plane tray now, and there's a little, it's segmented so that you can expand and contract the arch. It goes wide, narrow, and you can torque it this way. This is what we're going to make after lunch. Here's too much thermoplastic in there, which I have been doing a lot lately, too much of. Here it is sitting on the lower arch, and the thermoplastic cools. I should have had way less thermoplastic on here because there's way more than I needed. There isn't any fear of this thing popping off. It's got terrific retention. That's plenty of retention. Ignore those holes there for a second, but this guy's got a very narrow arch, and so I'm pinching in right here. And then I can narrow it by the back and bend that thing. And I can pinch it in there. And when we do these after lunch, the most important thing, and the thing I never spend enough time on, because I always make them on myself, I think it's going to work perfect, is getting this, get the arch dimension just right, because it'll hold its shape. When it's too wide or too narrow and you bite sort of out of bounds off of the tray, and it makes for a weird, bulky situation. So you got to just spend an extra 30 seconds just to get this thing just right. Here's an upper flat plane with too much thermoplastic, and then squeezing into it, and the tray will contort and shape to the arch. If you've got tall bicuspids and tall whatever it is, it sort of forms to it, which is nice and everything, but the patient has to squeeze on it for a long time for this arch to hold its shape, for the stuff to finally cool. And it became kind of proud of that, and it's still way too much thermoplastic. So my thought was, if dueling sliders is so slick and so slippery and so easy to do, why not dueling flat planes? Because we'll see pictures of a flat plane, clear, hard acrylic splint with nasty gouges in it. It's amazing what people do to those things. So here's the lower flat plane setting on the lower arch, allowing it just to rest flat an upper plane now resting flat. Both have thermoplastic. And a gentle closing allows both flat planes to rest on each other without contorting. And now the patient is relaxed with these things just touching. And then once it cools, it's comfortable and it's easy to move around on.